Well, good morning. You know what time it is. You're on with Big J. And let's talk. I'll be right back. Today's topic is Colin Kaepernick. And we'll be right back right after this. All right. Okay. Good morning. God bless you. We thank you for all those who tune in to Big J and Let's Talk. Hey, today I want to bring about my perspective and my understanding of Colin Kaepernick, not so much Tim Tebow, because right now individuals are asking the question, is there a double standard in the NFL? And I'm going to give you my take on Colin Kaepernick. And what I need you to do, if you have not yet, subscribe to our channel. Also, smash that like button. All right. Also, hit that bell so you'll be notified when we upload content. The last thing that we're going to ask you to do, because we want to know what you think on these subjects, please leave a comment. All right. So again, you're on with Big J. Let's talk. This is what we do: sports news and information. All right. Big shout out to Deacon Mac. Big shout out to Nine. We appreciate all you guys who are part of this channel. All right, so let's talk this morning. Also, we're going to be on live tonight at 8:30, so don't miss that. We're going to talk about all sports subject, and we have a couple special panel guests who will be on with us. But let's talk this morning. There are a lot of, even old media, at times they don't present the true narrative so the fan can understand what's really going on. When we look at Colin Kaepernick, we see a political African-American mixed male, all right, and what he brought to the NFL. First of all, in my opinion, after studying him at Nevada, he's not new to me. I've been watching Colin Kaepernick when he was in college as a quarterback because I liked his possibilities of a dual threat quarterback in the NFL. But he reminded me before Lamar Jackson came out and before he was in the NFL, Colin Kaepernick reminded me of a type of Lamar Jackson and that he could run. He was a gazelle in college. And what he did, he made the team Nevada marketable in that he brought attention to a low budget, low market team as far as the NCAA is concerned. All right. So let me show you this video so you'll definitely understand what I'm talking about. It's critical. I'll be right back. throws the ball on the run. And most NFL coaches don't want that. I don't think it used to be, you might say it's still a black thing, whatever. But I'm telling you what I know as far as Kaepernick. Played in a lower division to where you ran. And if you could run the option, or if you can run a form or a type of wing to where you're off and you're in the spread, all right, in the shotgun, you got 7 or 8 either side. If you notice, he never went up the middle. It's either the 7 or the 8, all right? So what am I saying? He was not the prototypical quarterback. So for teams to go after him and people say he's not given a chance, it has nothing to do with his race. It had something to do with his skill set. That's number one. Number two, let's talk about Colin Kaepernick. Kaepernick, an African-American young man, raised by a white adopted family. Some people didn't know that. It's not about race, ladies and gentlemen. It's not about race. Most young men who are adopted, even though they appreciated Jimmy Butler, Dennis Rodman, even though they appreciated, there is a sense of wanting to know my past and where I come from and what happened, especially when you're an African-American male. Dennis Rodman began his antics, I believe, because his past was hidden from him. Jimmy Butler has a lot of anger at times, but he loves his adoptive mom and his adoptive parents. All right. Colin Kaepernick loved his adoptive parents. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Mom and dad. Boom. Where's the afro? It's not necessary. I'm still at home. I'm in college. I'm doing what I can do. This is who I am. This is what I've loved. But deep down inside me, there's still something that I'm searching for. How can I reach who and what I am? How can I find out my past to enhance my future? See, football after a while became a byproduct, but he became a social activist for things that he understood which were wrong because that side of his life he did not experience. All right, let me go to the next one. Who walked him his senior game in college? His mom and dad. Look at the smile. Look at the hair. Look at everything about him. Completely different. Completely different. What am I saying? He was lost growing up and needed to identify with who he was. Man, no one's talking about this. He needed to identify with who he was. Again, if you looked at most adopted kids, those kids want to know their past. And most kids would love to have their parents back in their life, no matter how bad their parents was to them. That's something missing. There's something about a maternal or a birth where a mother gives a child. Even though that child and that mother are no longer connected, that child is still connected to the mother because of birth and the process of 9 months living inside someone, coming into the world. That's the first thing you smell, and the first thing you know is your mother. So no matter how old you are as a child, your mind and your senses are always longing for what I first met, what I first smelled, and the first place I was at. So how can he identify with that? Oh, I'm going to take on police brutality. I'm going to take on this and that. I'm going to kneel because I'm against what's being done to African Americans. Even though I was raised privileged, all right, I didn't ask for that. Even though I had this and I had that, but guess what? I still want to represent my people and my family in that. Maybe this is the reason to where my parents didn't keep me. Man, I wish I was in church. I preach a message right now. So a lot of people are talking about this and that, with Kaepernick compared to Tim Tebow. You stay on that narrative. It's deeper than that. Life is deeper than that. There are a lot of individuals who are walking around with pain that you and I would never know of. Even though, yes, I'm a successful quarterback, but I didn't have my natural mother. I didn't have my paternal mother, parents. I didn't have my mother. I didn't have that. Yes, this lady and her husband loved me. Yes, I grew up with things that other African Americans didn't have. But somewhere inside me, there is still that sense that I need to belong. So what you see in this young man is a sense of needing to belong. In sports teams you belong, but after a while, the narrative of that, it gets old. Yes, you had a great family and great things growing up, but the narrative gets old. Do you know how many times I've heard? Do you know how many times I've heard kids say, I know what my mom did or my dad did, but I still miss them. I still miss them. Had a kid tell me one time, I can still feel my mother's love, and I never knew her. Never knew her. So what he did, he grew up and he associated with the only thing he could to bridge the gap between his past and his future. The truth about Colin Kaepernick. His past and his future. Got it? His past and his future. See, and then here's another thing. The NFL will blackball you. If you had this and you walked away from it to hold your hand up in solidarity with those athletes in the 60s, the NFL will blackball you, any other sport, and railroad you because you went away from what most people are given and you went back to this. How dare you? When Trump and others call him a son of a you know what, it's not because they're against African Americans. They're against this. Look what we gave you. Look what you had. See, there's a part of the narrative most people don't even know. Look how you were. You look at the smile on your face, and now you're going to come into the good old boy league, and now you're going to do this? It's not about Tim Tebow. It's not about Tim Tebow at all. Yeah, go back with your old coach from Florida days. Who cares? The understanding is bigger than that. It tells you that there are some children who still are lost and not connected to their past. And even though they're giving this, inside them, they're missing something. And inside them, they're looking for something. You can actually see it in his face. You can see it. You can see it. So, you know what? I want to say thank you for being on with Big J. That's my take on Kaepernick and all that went on. Give me a comment. If you feel I'm wrong, you feel I'm wrong. Because watch this. Constructive criticism is great and good, and I accept it. But guess what? If you don't tell me, I don't know. But if you talk to me, I'll talk back. That's 100% sure. Again, as a foster parent, you know how many times I've heard that? Dad, I love you, man, but you know what? Man, I just would, you know, I do really miss my mom. I said those things about my mom because I was upset because I'm not at home. And when those kids turn 18, whether they can find them or not, they set out on an adventure. Colin Kaepernick set out on an adventure. If I bring attention to myself, somebody's going to know me. If I bring attention to myself, somebody's going to say, I'm your family. He set out on an adventure. Again, he was not an NFL protocol. He was not an NFL prototype as a quarterback. Another Lamar Jackson type. He could run. So the NFL said, you know what? Come from great stock, great parents. Things are great. He'll never give us a problem. We're going to take a shot at him. We're going to give him a chance. We're going to take a shot. He has a tight end body. He has a tight end body with a quarterback arm. He just has to learn to use it. So this morning, we thank you for being on with Big J. Let's talk. And you know what time it is. Make sure if you have not done so yet, you subscribe to the channel. Here where we bring you the best in sports, news, and information. You know what I'm going to say right now. Be the best, and the best you will become. God bless. Have an amazing day.